Have you ever wondered how a person on the other side of the world thinks about climate change, migration, war, and how to tackle other problems of the future? The World Talks wants
Thousands of participants from dozens of countries sitting down for a conversation with a stranger about topics that divide them. Sara Cooper, what exactly did participants discuss as part of the initiative The World Talks?
Every time that we run one of our projects, people start by signing up by answering like a series of yes or no questions. So these are like 8 questions that you can only answer with yes or no. And those are the basis of the conversation. They're also the basis of the matching. So we try and find as many people who said no to match with people who said yes for every question. And finding 8 questions that worked on a global scale was really a fun and interesting process. So we ended up with questions definitely about the war in Ukraine, because that's a global issue. We ended up with a lot of questions about climate change, because that's a really global issue that we're all facing right now. We also had questions that were more like value-based. We asked, like, do you think the world is better now than it was 10 or 20 years ago? And it was really interesting to see how people from different places had very different perspectives about that. Or we asked, like, do you think that hard work always leads to a better life? And depending on where you're from, whether you say yes or no, it really changes.
It is scientifically proven that whenever 2 people meet for at least 2 hours, face to face, to have a discussion, they change.
And what sort of feedback did you get from those taking part?
So the feedback from participants was really, really enthusiastic. Everybody really appreciated the idea. They understood it immediately. They were so excited to meet someone from the other side of the world. And at the same time, we also built this media coalition of different media organizations from around the world that were reaching out to their readers. And it was really a reader engagement project. And so the feedback from the media as well was so positive to be able to connect their readers to this global day of conversation.
So what would you say are the key takeaways that we journalists can learn from in particular?
What we try and do with all of our programs is to just get journalists really talking to their readers on a really personal level and thinking about their readers as like a resource. Those are people that can be portrayed in political discussions, or their life stories can be told to make your politics coverage or your policy coverage much deeper by getting those day-to-day experiences of how people are thinking about those issues, or how those issues are impacting people on on their everyday life. And so if you can do that just with your local context and with your readers, that's great. If you can also reach out beyond your bubble or beyond your community, it can also add a level of depth to your reporting that we sometimes miss, I think. And so that was also what we heard from our media partners and from journalists, that having a database of 5,000 protagonists from all over the world made them really think differently about what kind of stories they could feature about these global issues like climate change or war or migration.